want to get a back room too. How long you want to go for?
As long as you want.
This is cool live now. You were in the studio. I was like, can you give me a quick screen? I'm like, ah! My situation okay with you?
Huh?
My situation okay with you?
Yeah. You're good.
Eric's swing over here too.
Dude, you know it's fucked up. Yo, hey everybody, sorry. I'm sitting here with my buddy Ray West from the band Spread Eagle, who just got back off the M3 tour festival. And I want to talk a little bit about that with him and with you guys. And we basically kind of ignore the camera and we're just going to bullshit. So that's what the whole setup here is for. It's so that Shovelhed fans can meet new bands that they might not know. And these guys, Spread Eagle, if you don't know them yet, look them up. Because dude, I didn't know you guys when I moved down here.
Yep.
So I must have somehow missed you in the early '90s, and then it wasn't until someone introduced me to you guys that I was like, holy shit, man. And it was fucked up because you're in my backyard. I mean, I grew up in New York, so I don't know what happened there that I maybe I was just touring.
Well, you know,
I was busy doing my thing.
Yeah, well, you and a lot of people. It's like the band was here in the '90s.
Yeah.
So we stomped around like South Florida quite a bit, Tampa quite a bit. We did something called Livestock back in the day, which was a pretty big festival.
Right.
We did one of the first ones they did. So, you know, years later, obviously, you know, we all disbanded and went our separate ways, and we all kept working. So, you know, you still want to, something, it's unfinished business.
Right.
So it's cool to bring Spread Eagle back, and you know, it's cool to, when people don't really know me, we meet, and then we talk about the band, you're like, oh, you do that thing, and then you're introduced to it, you know?
Yeah.
But we're doing our best to introduce ourselves to people again, and when I'm down here, when I go to see you, and you bring up the band name, people are like, oh, I never heard of that.
Yeah.
But and then most people get it after we jam or something like,
Yeah.
oh, they go look it up, you know?
Yeah, oh, it happens every time. Every time I bring you up to sing, somebody goes, who the fuck was that?
That's cool.
And then I'm like, oh, that's Ray from Spread Eagle, and they do that. They look you up. And but what I think is cool, though, is how you guys, in the last 2 years, when I met you, you weren't playing, and
Right.
you were done, and you weren't sure that you wanted to go back, and then
That's
I
right.
won't talk about too much.
No, it's okay.
But and then all of a sudden, fucking, you guys are playing everywhere. Every Monsters of Rock cruise, every M3 festival. You're all over here. Cagney's,
Yeah.
OCC Roadhouse. What was the last Florida place you played?
We did that gig down south in that small little venue.
Cagney's?
Cagney's.
Cagney's, yeah,
We did
yeah.
that. But, you know, you were
I love Cagney's.
Yes, and we started doing Florida again, and then you were a big part of that. You know, bookers did not know the band enough to book it down here. They didn't want to take a chance, you know. And then when we get back in people's social graces and get back into the mix, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
And it's you know, it's funny when something is your identity, right?
Right.
And you really don't know it.
Yeah, or when you take a break from it.
Yeah,
You've spent your whole life building your identity, and then you take a break from the identity, and you're kind of lost.
Yeah, and when I met you, you know, I was kind of like on a low. You know, I wasn't really up on my singing and really, you know, grasping what I was doing. But now, since we've had that conversation, which is funny, I've really just been working hard.
The first time he and I hung out, he was within a week or two away from going to hanging out with George Lynch.
Right.
And
right. Which did not work out.
Yeah, but you know what? To get that phone call.
Yeah, man.
The phone call alone is enough for your narcissistic, we all are narcissists. We have that little bit of narcissism in it, but it feeds that ego.
Yeah.
Because now you can say, oh shit, dude, but he called me,
Yeah,
which means
man.
I got something.
Right, and then it's like,
Yeah.
what is that something? So you just work at it until you discover what it is again. And I've rediscovered my passion for what I rediscovered my passion for Spread Eagle songs.
Right.
You know, because you can leave something, I don't want to do that anymore, you know. You want to move on, everybody wants to do the cool new things.
Right.
But then you realize that's part of your
Superfly.
DNA. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Superfly, and that is me. You know, that's another. I'm so proud. It's very personal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's kind of more modern. You know, but Spread has this really cool, soulful rock and roll thing that's indescribable. I'm
Yeah.
still trying to figure out what it is. You know, so I'm on a mission.
Yeah,
we
but
all are.
see, I don't know. When the first time we played with you guys, Rob called me and asked me if I could book a gig, and I put you and us together at Cagney's, and that place was just, you couldn't fit any more people in
It was
there.
cool.
And that's the first time I met Rob. That's also the time your fucking guitar player blew up my amp. But the first time I met Rob, and I expected Rob to have a fucking ego. And he does not have, he's like, well, see, you know him better than I do.
Yeah.
But every time that I've hung out with you guys or met him or whatever, he's quiet, he's low-key,
Yeah.
he's thinking, you know, you could see his brain spinning.
He kills you with kindness.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's two Robs. You know, there's the Rob I work with, and who's very driven and but it's also very kind and reserved. And then there's the guy that just wants to get stuff done. And that's the guy no one sees, and that's the bit of the tyrannical Rob.
Well, I knew.
You know.
So we don't even. I don't talk to. I talk to you way more than I talk to him, and I barely talk to you except for. I never know when you're home.
Right.
So occasionally we've been talking about doing this podcast for like a fucking year.
Yeah.
And it's some. Oh yeah, I needed to get my teeth done. I refused to do the show without getting a new set of choppers going on here.
It's funny, man, what it takes to make you feel good when you're doing your thing. Whether it's a shirt, pants,
well,
teeth,
I told
hair.
Eric, my Stone bass player, we were talking about it, my first gigs after the surgery and everything, and he was like, dude, what the fuck? Holy, your singing was on fire. And I go, yeah, because for the first time in 10 years, I didn't have to worry about a photographer taking a picture and seeing my broken teeth from below me, or I had a bridge in, and sometimes you'd see the bridge, but you'd see a missing tooth or a cracked tooth, and I was like, that's why this mustache originated the way that it was. It covered everything, and I hated it. I fucking
Your look
hated
is so cool, though, man.
Well, see, that's the
I'm
other
like, I can't do it. One day I will.
Well, I
great,
used
man.
to just have long hair
Yeah.
and no facial beard, no facial hair. But when I went bald,
That's very metal, though, because metal is most dudes that start losing their hair do all the cool facial hair and the goatees, but they're bald.
yeah,
And they have
and
the
it
black
gets
shirt.
longer and longer. And when I met my wife, I used to dye it. It was short. It was a short beard, and I used to dye it. The fucking Just for Men routine. And she's like, stop it. You look fucking retarded. Stop doing it. So I let it go white. And honestly, here's the fucked up part is I get more attention over the fucking long white beard than I have ever gotten in my life with long hair and spandex and whatever other bullshit going on.
It's cool. It's cool when you walk into a venue and you see, someone that looks like you doing your gig.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just cool. I'm like, who is that dude,
Yeah.
man? He's unique. Unique club.
So, all right. So I want to get to M3
Okay.
because I'm an opinionated person. I'm a very, this about me. I speak my fucking mind.
Yeah.
And I don't ever expect anybody to agree with me. In fact, I think that adverse opinions create growth and education in people. So I never expect anybody to agree with me.
Okay.
But I was excited that you were playing it. And then I started seeing, not your videos, but like David Lee Roth's video, and I got your text, by the way, and I watched it, and I was like excited for the next day to see all the live feeds because was he really back? Like, that's holy shit. And then I watched it, and I was like, okay, wait a second. there's 4 backup singers.
Oh yeah, man, he's covering all the bases.
He doesn't move except for slow walking across the stage, and he's changed everything to a cabaret act. And I was like, no way. I can't. I get it. I do.
Right.
I get it. It's the aura of David Lee Roth.
Yeah, man. What I experienced in the venue, what I experienced was a great band, you know, and you know he's not going to be running around. So he just has to be there, hit some notes, and just be Dave without being too vaudeville.
That's true. He's that.
Right. So that's what. So what we saw was a supportive audience.
Right.
There was nobody like, oh, he's gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody was there, wanted to see him do well.
Right. Well, it's
And-
just like the same people that buy Motley Crue tickets.
Right.
They know what they're in for, but they buy them.
That's just something else, man. But anyway.
I don't want to bash fans.
So what
but
he did though,
certain.
people were talking about his voice. You know, he does. You can't push. I guess he just turned 70. Whatever. That has to be.
Is he 70?
I think he's 70.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
what everybody's telling me. So he, you know, he's singing 3 songs hard. What happens is, if you push, at some point you might lose some tonality. You might use your mids. You might lose your top. He lost his mids a little bit. So everything was that low end stuff.
Low,
He does,
yeah.
or the high. He goes,
Right.
"Ah!" He does that push on the
Yeah.
diaphragm, you know. But
Yeah, I don't.
it wasn't corny.
70.
Yeah, it wasn't corny. There was no vaudevillian shit. He was just playing. He was just doing the Van Halen songs.
Yeah.
The background singers were kind of like a Run DMC that can sing
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
They
So
were
it was-
good, but
so you know,
I
Dave,
miss Michael Anthony.
yeah, and Dave's always been tapped into like soul and blues and the African American side of music. So it was cool to see it all together. It was a very colorful band.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I think that the guitar player and the bass player are of color as well. You know, they're Latin descent or whatever. But man, it was a cool band. So everybody in the audience is supportive. He's happy, and it just went back and forth all night. But it was, for me, I felt like a little kid seeing
Yeah.
Dave again. But because
He's the one I'd never seen.
I'm such a fan, man. He doesn't have to jump around. He just has to go there and be cool.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so
Kind
that
of
was
like
my
Gene
take.
Simmons. You could be as much of an asshole as you want.
Yeah,
You're Gene
man.
Simmons.
That was my thing. It was, you know, and he was Dave. It was Rockstar Dave. He had his
Yeah.
things backstage. He took up the whole backstage area with stuff. You know, he did the cool pimp walk when he was done. Everybody was chasing him.
Right.
Dave can talk. You know, it blew me away. The band was smoking. I think the guitar player comes from like a Van Halen tribute band somewhere, which
That
is
would
smart.
make sense.
Which is
Yeah,
smart. But his shtick, and from beginning to end, nobody left. You know, the place
Yeah.
was just dialed into him, and he was like pretty much feeling it and not going cheesy, corny Dave.
What was this set? An hour or more?
It was about a little over an hour.
A little over an
and
hour.
it was all V8s. All V. I mean,
I
deep
saw
cuts.
the set list.
Yeah, man.
And
Drop
I
Dead
was like,
Legs.
holy
Come on.
shit. Yeah, Romeo Delight. I don't think they.
Yeah.
I never heard Van Halen do Romeo Delight ever.
Oh,
live.
they used to open with it quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, first time I saw them was the 5150 tour, so
Oh, okay.
I never got to see Dave. I saw Sammy's first tour, and
Right.
I was, you know, that blew me away.
Right. I saw them open for Black Sabbath when I was a little kid.
Oh man,
When
was
they
that the
were
tour they got
they
kicked
took-
off of because
They just tore them up. They just ate them for
Oh,
lunch, man. And then
wow.
I saw the Van Halen 2 tour. You know, I saw all the Dave tours.
right.
And I saw the first Van Hagar tour. And I'm a Dave enthusiast.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so
my
it's like going to the circus.
Fuck was that?
my wife too. She in fact, she's got a playlist inside now that is all David Lee Roth and
Solo stuff? And get solo
everything,
stuff?
everything
Oh my
and
God.
anything David Lee Roth, and then I went out and bought. I have a huge record collection, and I went out and bought every Roth album
Oh, wow.
that I didn't have. I had a couple of them like
Skyscraper?
I had Skyscraper. No, I didn't have Skyscraper. I had him Eat 'em and Smile, and I had
That was a great
the
tour.
one with Comfortable Shoes and the devil on the cover.
Oh, man, I don't know. I can't recall it.
That's a great album, though. It's
But he's smart as far as the bands that he has, because he gets the best of the best, you know?
yes, every
It's like
time.
great band. Even Smile Tour was one of the loudest tours I ever saw in my life.
And it surprised the shit out of me that somebody was able to control fucking Billy Sheehan.
Yeah, man.
You know, like I had hoped that when Sheehan formed Winery Dogs, that he was going to calm down and not do this Billy Sheehan thing.
No.
But he didn't.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean that fucking Steve Vai. I mean, he put Steve Vai on the map, the world map. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
before that, it was only guitar players and musicians that knew Steve Vai.
for that show, they did a cool thing where David would go into the audience. He would be in the arena somewhere, and him and Vi were talking, but Vi was answering with his guitar.
Oh,
On the talking
yeah.
thing.
David.
It was so cool, man.
That's fucking awesome.
You know, but so Dave tore up M3. I thought he did a great job. You know, people were really waiting all day, and all the, you know, what gets me is I never read comments about stuff.
Right.
It's just a waste of time.
Yeah.
But people are just hating him. Most of those people had never seen him live or just seen stuff on the
Right.
YouTubes, you know, and they didn't grow up with him, so it's different.
Well, not only that, but you do the live element. If the band is on fire, that is gonna carry most of the performance, regardless, because his aura is gonna. I didn't think about that. His aura is gonna give off most of the vibe, and as long as the band is carrying it all.
Yeah, man. Remember in on the Diver Down tour, he hardly sang a note.
Right.
But he was just jumping around. And like, oh, he's jumping around. But it was Dave. But this is more like a reserved Dave, a cool Dave, like experience. Like, I'm going to give you a great show.
Yeah.
He communicates with all the band, and not in a hokey way.
Yeah.
He was doing this stuff with the background singers. I thought was cool, man. You know, they did this little Michael Jackson bit. He does a thing live where he's faking like he's doing the moonwalk, but he knows that he can't moonwalk. So there's all this cool noise, like the guitar playing. It's a Steve Vai thing again.
Yeah.
I really loved it, man.
Oh, that's fucking.
Because
awesome.
we arrived just in time to see him, because there was a whole day of bands, but we didn't get time for that.
What were you the next day?
Yeah, the next day.
Next day. Something surprised me yesterday. I was flipping through. I don't know if it was one of my news things or Facebook or something, that I see his video, and it's fucking Ozzy, but it wasn't. It was a cover band. There was a cover Ozzy there.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh? What? Why? You know, that was kind of weird.
Well, there was a few people still. I guess most of the people just. The opening band was something called Soundcheck.
Yeah.
I guess that's like a School of Rock kind of thing. But there wasn't any cover bands. There was a band before Sebastian, I heard Friday, was a cover band.
Yeah.
A very good cover band. But I didn't see any. There was no Ozzy tribute or anything like that. It was all. Maybe I missed
Fucking
that.
Sebastian. Piece of work.
He comes in on Friday night with, I guess he got a solo night, man, which is great.
Yeah.
People say he sang well, you know, but it's bad. He always sings well.
Yeah.
And he gives good show.
He's always had a great. He's gonna have a timeless voice. He's gonna be able to still do it when he's 70. You can hear it in his presentation of his voice. You're gonna hear that in certain guys, or certain guys like even C.J. Snare from Firehouse.
Yeah.
The guy. I mean, I think he was pushing 65 and still could do it.
It's you know how you take care of yourself. You go through this, how you take care of yourself. You know, it's important. Health is everything, man. But most guys think if they're singing, they don't have to warm up all the time.
No.
You
Well, I don't.
Well,
I'm the same. It's unfortunate, but it's 30 years of I had 30 years of vocal lessons, and I didn't think anybody else did it. I thought I was just being lazy until I read an interview with what's the singer's name from Queensryche right now? Todd Latour.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And he smokes like 3 packs of cigarettes a day and does not warm up. He just goes straight from a cigarette right to the stage.
Really?
And I'm the same way.
So it's different for different people.
Yeah, well, and like anything else, there are I know people that can only party on the weekend.
Right.
And stop party. I knew guys. Now it's too old. I'm too old. But I knew guys that used to be able to party 8 balls Friday through Sunday and go to work on Monday through Thursday, stay sober.
That was back in the day for sure.
Yeah, but
for me,
you know, everybody has their. There's a strength in every singer.
Yeah, all singers have their method of madness.
Right.
You know, I'm cool with just warming up like 10, 15 minutes before I play.
Do you? Yeah.
That's my thing. But I like to touch base with my voice once a day.
You do the thing that I do, and I noticed it 2 or 3 different times that I've seen you play, is you go into a private zone box, like 15 minutes before you go on.
Oh yeah, man.
Me too. You gotta clear your head. I need to clear my head. I don't want anybody talking to me. I want to, you know, and it doesn't matter how many people I'm playing in front of.
Right.
It's always I need to put myself in that performance space.
Yeah, you go through that little room. It's like a psychological thing. You go to this little room. It's just madness, and you got to just try to calm the noise.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it's 5, 10, 100 people, 1,000 people. You know, and you got to calm your nerves a little bit because it's exciting.
Yeah.
You know, people confuse nervousness with excitement.
Yeah.
And I used to go, oh, I'm so nervous. No, you're just
You're
really
way
excited.
excited.
Control it.
Yes.
You can control that.
Take a Xanax.
Yeah,
No,
man. And
no,
then-
don't take a Xanax.
And then the other thing that calms me down, which I think works for you too, and I'm sure you guys know this about him, is that when you talk to the audience, I find that really calming.
Oh.
Like it
Oh,
like,
yeah?
like for the set at M3 when I was talking, I was like, I was amped up.
Oh, yeah.
But when I get a chance to talk to the crowd, I'm like, oh, I could just relax and talk.
Yeah.
I'm cool like
Tell
that.
a story, whatever, you know, and I try. I'm not the best at this. I'm not a Steven Tyler and I'm not a Paul Stanley. I don't have the greatest stories for every song, especially because I didn't write them. I'm playing covers. So.
Yeah, I think it's just making people feel comfortable.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's people. There's a lot of bands out here, and a lot of bands, you know, they wonder how does Shovelhed do what they're doing. On top of us all being very good musicians, we connect with our audience.
Right.
You know, where when we're on the stage, we try to present ourselves as larger than life. However, still have the handout, and you know, still touching the audience, still speaking to them, singing with them, getting them to feedback with sing-along songs or whatever. You know, getting into birthdays and all that kind of crazy shit. I like it because, you know, like you've seen at Earl's. We were at Earl's. There's 500-600 people collected
It's
there.
amazing.
But everyone there feels like they're part of the same one experience, and I fucking love that. I would rather do that at 54 than playing in, you know, my flip-flops somewhere just to make a couple of $100.
You want to make an impact.
I want an impact.
You want, when your band plays, you want there to be people. That's where you want the party to be. Where you want the action.
I treat Shovelhed cover band the same way that I treated my original bands.
Sure.
You know, in order for anybody to know who the hell Spread Eagle is, you got to get the name out there.
Yeah.
You got to get the logo out there. You got all these things so that people automatically don't have to think. They go, oh, that's Spread Eagle.
Yeah, you got to be in the conversation. You got to create optics and things like that. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
So you got to play everywhere and anywhere.
Yeah, well, I laugh because I'm fascinated by all these chicks. Sorry, I know I'm sexist. All these girls with their Instagram and Snapchat and OnlyFans stuff, and they're making shitloads of money.
Putting on makeup, taking off makeup.
Yeah, or you know, putting on clothes, taking off clothes. I mean, now, at some point down the line, they're going to regret every decision that they made doing this. But they're making a fortune, and or they're getting shitloads of followers, and I don't forget where the hell I was going with this. I watch it and I don't know how to apply.
I know what you mean. Like trying to get your stuff like out there to spider out to everyone and get those hits.
Yeah.
To create those viral moments.
That's what we all want. We all need. Well, see. Oh. This is where I was going with it. Is that I'm reading this article on this girl who has she makes, you know, like fucking $22,000 a week or some shit on her OnlyFans, and she's like, yeah, you know, I left my job as a nurse. Where I was underappreciated and working shitloads of overtime and all this other stuff and not making enough money to running my OnlyFans and blah 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 blah, and she's making $22,000 a week. She goes, but I have to work 16 hours a day. So we don't think about that. We don't think about what they're doing behind the concept, the setup, all that crazy bullshit that goes into this shit, but people are eating it up.
Yeah, and it becomes just sort of like, you know, that's their dopamine hit.
Yes.
When they're doing their work on the laptop. I was just in New York City. We were doing some video stuff, and there was a girl, some sort of influencer. I didn't know. I forgot her name. Anyway, very pretty lady. But she was glued to her table and doing her shtick. People just walking around. She wasn't giving that any attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was working hard. So that's all encompassing. If you're gonna do that, that's 24/7. That's okay because that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But I don't.
I want some peace and quiet at times. Like I try to do I look at my band stuff Monday through Friday as it's still my job.
Yeah.
I got to work it. I get up in the morning. I'm up at 8 o'clock. By 8:30, I've had my coffee. I'm already working.
Right. People just see you on stage and think that's it.
You know, and then you're just hanging around or whatever, posting pictures. But no, man, I have to be a cover band. that is a successful cover band.
Right.
Even with guys with semi-fame in the band, you still have to push and push and push and push and push to get people to pay attention. You know, like, I never wanted to be the local band because, I never was a local band.
Right.
You know, my original band was a national touring band with major management. My next cover band was a tri-state, more than tri-state. It was New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire.
You were working.
I was working. I never stopped working from 22 years old until 2015 when I moved here, and I took a 3 to 4 year break.
Did the break make you crazy?
It made me fucking nuts. I was crazy.
In my break, I think we talked about this before. And when I try to walk away from being in a band and leaving it behind, because the business bit me in the ass really hard.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us get hurt. You know, when you have a deal and you do great things and then it's just gone.
Yeah.
You know, like, what do you do at that time? Some guys can recover from that quickly. You know, I became like a professional drug addict, and 7 rehabs later, we're still here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you live for it, you bleed for it. People understand that we do this 24/7.
Yeah.
And you know, being in spread is 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you got to be ready to go at any time. Your bag's always got to be packed.
Yeah.
You know? And you do want to make an impact. You want what you do to make.
Tell
to
me
affect people.
what's in your go bag.
Oh my God. all 3 of my pairs of my sunglasses.
Right.
All 4 of my hats.
Your black vest.
My black vest, my black jeans, my leather vest, everything that's black. My
Dude,
black
I
socks.
love that black vest.
You know what I mean?
I want to know where you got it because I'm a vest wearer all the
Okay.
time, and I was like, dude, that's a fucking nice vest.
My better half will let you on that. She dresses me. No, man, no. But that's, you know, and you have everything you need. You know, it's all the toiletries. You know,
People don't know what they don't get the go bag.
Yeah, man.
They don't, or the go rig, or the, you know, you say that's
Yeah.
what you have on you, ready for any situation.
Right.
To grab the bag, run out the door, and head to the airport.
Yeah, if you're on the beach in your shorts and you get a call,
Yeah.
you just grab the go bag. It's already that's to get everything. You know, from your whiskey bottle, everything's
Yeah.
your little
Toothbrush,
flask,
toothpaste,
yeah,
fucking-
your little flask, and traveling's hard, man.
Gummies.
You know. Oh, yeah,
Gotta
gummies.
have my gummies.
Gummies. I have my bag that has all that stuff. I take the gummies I get from True Leaf. I put in a little thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta be ready. And there's snacks. Snacks
Yeah, oh,
and
yeah,
shit, too.
yeah.
And then there's eating right, and there's being healthy, and there's traveling on planes,
Which
trains.
is so hard.
Yeah, man. Your
The
body
eating
starts to
thing
hurt.
is so hard when you're
Yeah.
traveling because you don't ever have
Yeah.
time for real food.
Right. Sometimes the venues will feed you.
Yeah, but it's usually cold cuts or some bullshit.
Yeah, you know, but if usually we've been treated pretty well this
Yeah,
past
yeah.
year. It's been cool. You know, a lot of pasta.
you guys got very well taken care of in Europe.
Oh yeah, man.
Dude, I was looking at I was living vicariously through you, watching your posts, and I was like, dude, I need to fucking get out of Florida.
Oh, man.
I miss it so much. I miss the road, you know.
There's the culture, the passionate rock and roll culture. You can meet someone in UK
Yeah.
who is 85 years old, is selling donuts somewhere, but they're going to give you a dissertation on Iron Maiden and Black
Yes,
Sabbath.
yes.
Everybody has a high rock and
Yeah.
roll IQ.
Metal
Yeah.
has never disappeared, or
No.
hard rock has never disappeared
Yeah.
like it has in the United States.
I feel like here it's underground,
Yeah.
and we go. You know, my band, we go out in places mining where it lives. You know, like Gastonia, North Carolina, Norton, West Virginia.
Right.
There's these amazing rock scenes that'll blow your mind, man.
But
You go
that's the thing is you got to locate the scenes.
You got to go.
Yeah.
You gotta go. As a matter of fact, the gig in Norton, West Virginia is at a place called The Rim. Brad Smith owns it. The point is, it's in the mountains, and as you're driving, you're like, man, I think we got the wrong. We're lost. Here.
Yeah.
And then there's a gravel road. We're like, what the fuck is that? No directions say gravel road, man. And you're going into, you're like, this is crazy. And you see a house on top of the mountain. You're like, dude, this is not it.
Yeah.
But there's people outside, and all of a sudden you realize the owner has built a club underneath into the mountain under
That's
his house.
fucking crazy.
It's packed with everybody in the area, and kids are from 17 up. We're in there, and it's nuts, man.
Isn't that crazy?
It's nuts.
I know.
It, like,
People don't
and
understand. Like you. I guess it's probably why I get frustrated with Florida. I love living here. I fucking love living here. I do, but I have a frustration with the music business because I come from a a mecca of music,
Yeah.
and it becomes a frustrating thing here that I watch how the venues operate, and then you go to bumfuck Alabama, and that's exactly it. Some guy with 100 acres of cow pasture said, "I'm gonna build a fucking
Yeah.
a massive bar
Yeah.
here." And then it's a football field enclosed, and he's got now it's a venue, and everybody for fucking 100 miles knows about it because there's no other fucking place in town. That's what the Twisted Fork is like.
Oh, okay. I never
Down
been there.
in what that's Newport, no, New Rochelle, right?
Oh wow, Newport Richie.
Newport. Fuck.
They both sound like a
It's
candy
in
bar.
one of those new somethings. It's down
It's a
south.
candy bar.
I gotta
Newport
look it
Richie.
up. It's owned by the same. There's partners, but there's the same owner as the guy that is partners with OCC, and it's just like OCC. So
Really?
it has this enormous. I don't know, what do you call that? Gondola? What is that covering? It's
Man.
it's an outdoor stage,
Right.
that's the size of a football field with a full covering over
Yeah, they
it.
got shelter. Yeah, they got covering on it. I
And
know
then
it's
the restaurant is half indoor, half outdoor, under the covering, connected to the Harley Davidson dealer. It's
great bikes, great music, great
Yeah.
food, great people.
And there's not another venue for like 75 miles. So
Right.
everybody in the area knows this is the place to go on the weekend if you want to see anything. And I wish we had these things here. Yeah.
I think what not that I know everything about that, but what I know enough of is it's a very food touristy culture.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, and it's kind of like permanent vacationville, and all the clubs are more geared to like touristy things, karaoke, cover bands, tribute
Right.
bands. If there's money, it's all about money and numbers. What
Mhm.
kind of numbers you can bring. Even
Yeah, but
OCC
see, you fucking recognize that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
half of the cover bands around here have not. They don't recognize. They think that they're in this. They think that they're a band that should just be hired.
right, just show up and play without putting any
And
promotional work into it.
Exactly.
No,
and
no.
no work goes into it because in their mind it's the venue's responsibility. Which we both know that there is a part of that is true. There is a portion of it that is the venue's responsibility.
Right.
But when you move to an area in which the venues largely just are saying, no, it's not my responsibility, I'm going to rely on the bands to bring me their draw, you have no choice.
Right.
But now to focus your attention on building the fan base so that your fan base can fill the fucking bar every time you come in so that you can ask for a raise every time you go in. But what's becoming a problem is that you get these phone calls and they're calling you specifically because they know I'll bring 300-400 people. And then you give them your rate, which is, my rate is high for anyone in the area, and they say, oh, I can't afford that. Oh, okay, I'll tell you what. Let's make it a percentage then.
Right.
How about
There you go.
you don't pay me anything, but I want 25% of the ring that night. Now,
Spoken like a true silver-tongued devil.
you're coming to me because you want my 200 or 300 people, but yet you don't want to pay me for the 200 or 300 people that I'm bringing you. Like, that doesn't work.
Not thinking of the money they're going to make at the bar too from your people.
Right,
Which they're going to be very happy.
And now, on the reverse side of that, the venue should be looking at the bands saying, I'm going to pay a band who brings me a profit. And not be so cheap and say, well, we only pay, the joke down here was venues would say, well, oh, no, we only pay $100 a man. All right, see you later. Don't play those places.
Yes, I catch your post sometimes when you
Oh,
go
man.
off on the scene.
Yeah.
It's great.
Because I want them to be
You want people to care.
be professional,
Yeah.
and make the money.
Yeah.
The money's there. I know it's there.
Right. And there's a rock and roll culture here that does like to be entertained. Here, there's also a good mix. You get people that want to drunk dance and rock. So it's always been a good eclectic mix of people.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
like I was talking to Joe yesterday, the drummer for Eat Crow. We did podcast yesterday too, and the thing is that you brought it up. I didn't even have to bring it up. Was that this is a touristy retirement leisure
Oh yeah.
area,
Yeah.
and you're think about it in our point of view, 45 to 70 years old. That's the money bar demographic.
The Facebook crowd.
That's right. It's the Facebook crowd. It is the kids are out of the house for the first time, or more so independent in their late teen years,
Right.
that you don't have to. They got a job at McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, and you're not putting as much into them financially as you were before. So now you got this little bit of extra money to go out, since you haven't been able to do it for 25 years.
Right.
And all of a sudden, fucking margaritas at 9 a.m. and,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to go and hang out with the best rock band. That's their mentality. They want to just go and relive.
Yeah.
That's why I think what we really need to do is find somebody here with 100 acres, get a fire permit, and have a good old-fashioned keg party like we used to have in the 80s. Do you have any of those?
Yeah, man.
Like,
I love the good keg party.
Like, I grew up in this little town in Athens, called Athens, Texas, and in high school and junior high, they would have these fucking keg parties with
With the
20
bonfire
or
at night.
30 kegs, and we'd float every one of them. Red
Yeah.
solo cup nights, the band would be playing on a trailer with
Somebody
a
always
generator.
did too much acid.
Yeah, oh yeah, every
yeah,
time.
I know.
we now at 54, I'm like, fuck, I need that.
Man,
Now I need
right.
it.
In high school down here, I went here in Colorado. It was the same college, keg parties, Van Halen. Colorado,
Right.
same thing. Keg parties, Van Halen. You just brought up something that really gets me. The age demographic in this country. I'm gonna sound corny. In this country, what it is we got to get the young kids.
Yeah.
So it's rock and roll is getting passed down little by little.
Yes.
But
the best of the old school.
Yeah, man. So I'm meeting kids like M3 for example. I never seen so many spread eagle shirts.
You're not allergic, are you?
No, on so many kids before. There was like young folks there, and the people that came up to me. I like to go out to the crowd,
Yeah.
later in the day. I got my hat on, got my.
Oh, she likes you.
Yeah. Probably smell Lucy, my poodle. Beautiful, man. Looking right at me too. But there was kids there, and little by little, you see rock and roll getting passed down. It's just without the kids, it won't turn over.
Yeah.
It just won't.
Yeah, but what I don't like about that is, it's not a large enough amount,
No,
because they are lost among the Instagram
Oh,
bullshit
man.
and all that other
a
stuff.
whole
And
generation.
it's little clips of music. It's not. It's. This is where the AI music is going to become a problem. So right now, some of these artists are getting famous by viral clips that people will use to mime something off of a song they put up, and then the song becomes a sensation, and those people are making big money. What's going to happen is that some genius is just going to say, "Oh, and now make your Instagrams with your own music."
Right.
And it's going to flood out that whole fucking thing, and the money is going to dry up. It's just going to be another way to fuck over the music industry.
Yeah, man. You and I both been through the ringer on that shit, man. I got signed to a label called MCA, which they always labeled the music cemetery of America. Lynn Skidmore wrote a great song about MCA. I think it's working for MCA.
Yeah.
But I think it's just the truth. But when you're young and hungry, you don't think about that.
No.
But to get back to the kids, little by little, I think they'll come around. It's gonna be a while.
Because they don't have an
Yeah,
alternative.
the kids that discover organic rock, are gonna want to get to the clubs when they're older and come see their favorite songs.
Yeah.
done right,
Well, there's
done
something's
heavier.
got to be working, because there are newer bands coming out like Dirty Honey, who I
man.
love.
Yeah.
They're all young guys in their 20s, or early 30s or whatnot.
It's
And-
happening, but it's little by little. It's the turnover used to be maybe 3-5 years.
Yeah.
Then now it's like 10 years.
10 years,
But there's
yeah.
a lot of young up and coming bands that we're going to see. But the trick is, the kids that are listening, the kids that aren't so hippity hoppity.
Yeah.
And man.
Hippity hoppity, dude. I tried.
Yeah.
I tried writing hip hop. I tried it because I was like, how are these fucking guys making millions of dollars off of a single song that I've never heard of?
It's some quirky, goofy thing that happens, but not. It's the new language of 99.9% of the world.
Yes.
Is you go to these you go to Europe and a lot of the Middle Eastern countries too, man. All hip hop.
All hip
You
hop.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So rock and roll still is still around. I have hope. I got hope. You
I
got
do
faith.
every couple of years somebody comes out.
Yeah.
When Buck Cherry first came out, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
When The Darkness first came out, I thought the same thing. When
Yeah.
Jet first came out, I thought the same thing. And then and it.
Yeah, I know. I feel you.
You know, like
that's why these little culture pits.
Well,
of like the
I get-
Monsters of Rock crews.
The guys in
M3.
Shovelhed keep asking. Patrick wants to write original music. Like he keeps telling me, he's like, "Dude, let's go. Write something like you used to write." That's,
Well, I think
and
you
I
guys,
go,
you could.
yeah, I could, but you know what? You know why I haven't written? I have not written or written a song since 2006.
What's the block, bro? What's the block?
It's the devaluation of the music.
Ooh.
It's before I had goals
Right.
to reach, and all of those goals, all of the ways that I learned how to get my music out there are fucking gone. None of them are there. The whole system is completely different. It's totally rigged.
So So you're saying what for, right?
Right.
But I get a feeling your audience that loves you, man, because I love your band. So you're cool. The redos to me, they're like you do redos. I don't think you're.
We do
I think you
redos,
do
yeah.
redos because everything's heavier and cooler. Your version of Dream On is cool.
Thank
like I can't believe you do Journey, but you do
Yeah.
it. You get away with it, and it's cool and it's heavy.
It's heavy.
and it's
Yeah.
in tune, and you sing
Sometimes
beautifully.
it's so fucking fast, I gotta slow Patrick down.
But why? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Double bass parts where they don't play. You know, he's squeezing stuff in. But I think your audience would appreciate maybe like a little personal note from you
Right.
with something original. Doesn't have to be amazing. Just something cool that rocks people.
I've been
that's-
getting
that's, you know,
closer and closer
Yeah,
and
man.
closer to doing it.
my-
Yeah.
My thing is,
It's so emotional for me.
my thing is, and I think it's an ego thing. I think that I'm driven to connect
Yeah.
my own way, and I'm a stubborn motherfucker.
Yeah.
And this is why I still do. That's why I'm doing spread eagle music, because I know there's a message in there. I'm just trying to get it out, and I know if people just get into this room with us, it creates a party vibe, like how you create a party vibe where you are.
Yeah.
I think spread has that ability with original music.
Right.
Once people learn, and even if they don't know it, I get a lot of. I never heard of you guys before. There's I'm gonna look you guys up. I get a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because that's the mission we're on. We play to a lot of people that don't know us.
I think your beats he's good. He's
Oh,
a
yeah.
great drummer. He knows exactly how not to overplay.
Yeah, and it was cool to see
Yeah.
him. Think about M3. It's a really big stage.
Yes.
So it was cool to see this music projected
On a crowd that
on a
size.
crowd. Just the arena, the bigness of it.
Yeah.
Like how some music doesn't translate well like that.
Yes.
And I think spread music just was like, it worked that day, man. We did a 35-minute sprint set. I was exhausted by the third song. I need those little oxygen things for real, man.
Yeah.
But it was great work. We did great work, man. It wasn't-
We just
I
had
didn't
this
sing the best.
conversation
Yeah.
with my guys about how we are getting to a point where we're not going to play any bars anymore because we're doing really well in large venues.
So you're creating an event, man. That's what you're
Yeah, and it's why if you're not going to pay me what
Right.
I'm worth,
doing. And-
why am I going to bother continuing to do it when I got more than enough festivals to keep me fucking happy all year long?
Pays your bills,
Pays my bills. If I have to travel, I can stay the night, and it doesn't come out of my finances. If
Right.
it's, or it's just playing a venue where I instantly win over a new couple of hundred fans,
Yeah, and it's everything has to.
and then
Nothing stays in place forever.
No.
Things get bigger.
And then all of a
bigger.
sudden, I get an inrush of T-shirt sales on the website, and you're like, people seem to forget that when you're only playing to your own area and you're not constantly building that
Right.
fan base of new people. Look, the truth is that people come and people go. In the course of a band's existence, people's lives are the most important part
Sure.
of them, and things come up and all of a sudden they can't go out anymore or whatever, and then the new
Right.
people come in and they become, so there's this constant rotation of rabid fan base, and you can't sell T-shirts to the same people over and over and
Oh
over
yeah,
again.
man.
You know,
Yeah.
you can't. So you got to win them over somewhere else.
Right. Just like you can't play the same songs over and over again.
Right.
You always add new things to keep things fresh.
Constantly.
But yeah, man, you can only throw a party so many times in the same place.
Yeah.
People just aren't going to show up anymore.
Correct.
You know, because that one guy's always drunk in the corner.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and or they get to the point where they're like, oh shit, they're gonna play Sweet Child of Mine right now.
Yeah, and somebody and someone is always trying to outwork you.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know?
Well, see, that's the other part of it is that from spending most of my life writing my own material and working towards having people on a mass scale listen to it and see me, you get into that whole you've got to constantly be at it. You know, you have to constantly be at it, because at some point in any band's career, it only goes for so many years.
Oh, yeah.
Usually a decade. You know?
Like I said, what I'm trying to do is a Herculean task.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's
Don't you love being
it's like
having a second life?
Yeah, it's like a second. I have a purpose. It's like a second shot at something, and you believe in it so much. I believe in it because even when I just experienced at M3, I see people that it affects. It's really cool, man.
Yeah.
So I have to be.
Is there give me one instance that was your favorite experience at M3? That not David Lee Roth.
Right.
We've discussed that one already.
I really think it was for myself meeting the people, the kids that we affected that day.
Yeah.
I think that was the most special thing. Man.
One of you guys posted a bunch of pictures, and the first picture in the group were these group of like 16-year-old kids
man,
wearing
they got the
Spread
shirts
Eagle
on.
shirts. Yeah.
For me, we haven't done a big gig like that in quite some time. Not since, but it's cool because it made me feel like I was a little kid. I'm like, I would see the merch, I would buy the merch, and we're all this army of the people that love this band.
Yeah.
And I witnessed some of that. It was just a little taste of it. I was like, fuck, we can keep going. We got to keep going. This is really cool, I see why bands show up for this thing every year. They treat you like.
I saw the dressing rooms were nice.
But usually when we play somewhere, we get hotels, but it's usually like two of us to a room.
Right.
You know? This was like, I said, Rob, so Rick gonna be in the same room. Am I gonna room with Ricky? And he goes, no, they gave us our own room. So I was like, what? and it was like this big, beautiful room. Like, whoa, man, this is cool.
Yeah.
The food is great. They had great catering. They just renovated the whole venue.
So here's the thing: is that they know people are spending money to come there to see the bands. How do I make the bands do their best? Make them comfortable.
That's it, man.
They're doing a job. You want them to do the job, make them comfortable.
Yeah, man. Treat them with dignity.
Yeah.
We just want to be treated with dignity and be given a shot. We just want a shot at stage time and a shot just to communicate. And
do that 35 minutes though. You're still so pumped when you get off. Like occasionally we'll get a venue that wants us to do like a 45-minute first set and then a 90-minute set. And then whatever, and that first fucking 45-minute set, and then you got to take a break. I'm like, I'm just getting, I'm just getting jacked up, and now you're gonna make me.
I was jacked for hours, dude. And what's funny when you finish, you're a sweaty mess. So you walk back, and I hadn't eaten all day.
Right.
And we went on early, so I had to eat something. So I go to eat, and that's when I was meeting a lot of people that were backstage. Because what I noticed that for our set, a lot of people were watching from the, it was cool to see musicians, whatever, saying, giving great kudos and props. It made me feel really good.
Yeah.
And this kid that sings for Brett, I think it's Brett Carlisle, he sings for Great White. I've always been like...
Yeah, I watched some videos of this guy.
Technician, man.
Yeah.
The kid's a technician. He's amazing. It runs...
And he's young.
And he's a sweet dude. There's no
he's
just cool.
Ego.
Yeah, he's just cool, man. And I got to meet a lot of cool people like that. He really affected me because he sang really well. I was like, man... we started talking vocal breaks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's really generous with information. But cats like that are like stepping into someone else's, shoes and taking it over and doing it well, I have respect for that.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, it's a lot of trip bands. There's only one original member.
Yeah.
If people like a catalog.
Every time I see
just
Warren
like the cover band thing.
with a
new
singer,
if people
I
like
say the same thing.
Oh yeah, man.
Like there's not many guys that can do Janie Lane justice because. Regardless of it being cherry pie, the guy could sing like a motherfucker, and
He was great.
He was great, every replacement singer that they've had up until even till presently now, has been amazing. And you do have to get to the point where you allow a new guy to come in and prove himself. And if he does, give him the fucking kudos he deserves.
Right. And it's about the music, because if that catalog is good enough to just live on and do its thing, it's like the
How do
cover
you think
band
38 Special is still around?
Right.
There are no original guys in that band,
Yeah.
because their catalog sells them.
You know, I was going to connect it to what you do, because it's about tradition.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
You know, keeping the music alive. You know, keeping it out in a live vibe for people.
Right.
You know, so if you do it well, huge respect, man. And for that band, they were great. The singer for Warrant was great. It was cool to see bands like that in a setting like that, just laying it down.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh my God, that's why they're out there still. And that's why they're so good.
Yeah.
Because they're pro.
What was the average set lengths?
I think everything like an hour.
An hour, yeah.
I think that the main band's got like an hour.
Which
plus.
is good.
That's what on the cruise you get about an hour.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, it's funny. You do a sprint set and you feel like it's just a sprint set.
Right.
When you're in the moment, you're like, oh, we're killing. It's like driving really fast and you just got to stop. But a nice long set, I always feel comfortable in a 90-minute set. Like I get to know the audience more.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? You get to
I
listen.
like 90 minutes. I think 90 minutes is. We're doing one Saturday at Wickham Park, and the
You get to
flow
have
of
fun,
a
yeah.
90-minute set
Yeah.
is exactly perfect. It's not too long.
Yeah.
It's not too short. You can take a few. You can take up to 5 minutes in 90 minutes to have a conversation with the band.
That's it. Conversation is the word.
Conversation.
You know, I was going to ask you, because we have to whittle down our 90-minute set to a 35-minute set, and it was painstaking,
it's
man. Me
brutal.
and Rob texting all night, 3 days in a row, just back and forth, then getting everybody else involved.
Yeah.
And you know, I always want my ego takes over. Like, listen, man, I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna design it right. Just leave me alone. Then of course I design. I'm like, is this okay?
Yeah, yeah. See, what I do is I hate doing it. I do.
Oh, okay.
I fucking hate set listing, so Eric does it.
Okay.
Normally, we don't do a set list. We when we're playing like the 3-hour nights,
Right, you just
we
call
just
them out?
we just call them out. We if the people are dancing, then we just do dancing. You know, songs for the dance to, one right after the other. And
Yeah.
when I say dance songs, for those that don't know a Shovelhed tune, I'm talking, Van Halen, AC/DC, Sweet
They don't
Guns
need
N'
Boogie
Roses,
Nights or
yeah,
Brick House or nothing
yeah.
like that.
Although I would like to do, I want to do. I've done Word Up before, and
That's a cool song, man.
I'm.
Brick House is cool too.
Brick House is a cool tune. I would love to be able. I can't do it with Shovelhed, but I would love to be able to do some kind of a version of Papa Was a Rolling Stone.
I love redoing. I did
Me too.
Superfly does a version of Boogeyman.
Yeah.
by
Oh,
Casey,
yeah?
that I think is cool. You know, I like doing stuff like
Dude,
that. I would like to take Sly Family.
Casey's singer, keyboard player, Nick Marino.
Yeah.
That's a new band with Patrick and Eric from Shovelhed. They're doing the thing. It shocked me that he's in Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Yeah.
And Yngwie Malmsteen. I'm like, what?
He's kept a lot of people working for a long time, man.
Yeah, oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
That's Casey's an industry down
Oh
there.
yeah.
Him and the Estefan family.
Yes,
Big money.
She still own that place, in Vero.
Oh, I don't know.
There's a place in Vero that when I moved here, she was a partner in. Casa, it's a ritzy place, nice little place.
I'm tight with Tommy McWilliams used to drum for them. I think. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. He's always in that. I know he's in that clan, but you know that's an industry, man.
That's
I
another
like redoing those
oddball
cool
thing
funky
is
songs.
people down here don't realize how many people in the music industry
Oh.
actually live here.
Yeah,
you
man.
know.
People come here to retire,
Yeah.
take breaks, to get away from. We're on the sort of like Florida's like the, I don't know what you call it. It's very phallic.
Yeah.
Like a limp.
Yeah.
People just go there to hang out, relax.
Everybody goes to the hard on of
You know what I mean?
the United
The limp
States.
dick on the face of America. But yeah, you meet so many musicians. There's 6 degrees of everybody down here.
Yeah.
And bands start tours down here. They finish tours down here. Everybody wants to be in the sunshine.
Everybody.
The rest of my band lives in New York City.
Yeah.
I go back and forth, but man, they came down here like, oh, this is awesome. It's
I don't know. Look, dude, when I left New York in 2015, I'm like, I'm never going back. If I don't have to, I am never going back.
Well, it's changed a lot. Where I'm from, where I was born in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. That's the same. Nothing's changed in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn.
No.
It's weird. A lot of it's old Italian money. You know?
Well, but that's why there's a semblance of pride.
Right, there's tradition out there.
Long Island looks like a fucking nuclear waste site.
But Manhattan itself, it's just a mall.
You're right.
It's a mall with advertisements in it and great food. It's
correct.
A mall.
And tourists.
Yeah. You can't even drive there anymore. Bloomberg, I think, shut down a lot of the traffic, created more pedestrian-friendly New York. But it's changed a lot. I go back because I have to.
Yeah.
But it's still in my DNA. You know, I land, I'm like, I kind of feel normal, man.
Yeah. Well, I have to go. My son's getting married in January, and it'll be Meg's first time in New York, and she's like making a list of all the things she wants to go do, and I go, all right. But listen, in Manhattan, we're going to go specifically to specific things and then move on.
Sure, you want to take it to Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Yeah. I go, all right, you want to go to the Statue of Liberty, we'll go to the Statue of Liberty. But then at the same time, I'm not going to take her into all the places that we all used to hang out at and do, because all those neighborhoods are fucking shit now. You know, there's so much garbage going on in there that I'm afraid to take her in there, because I do want to look back on some of that stuff and have some pride about it.
You know, in Manhattan, like I said, Bloomberg made it more pedestrian friendly, and especially in the theater district.
Yeah.
But there's still, things when you go down by the Statue of Liberty, that area is really cool still, downtown area. But anything in Midtown is just a pain in the ass.
South Street.
And everything's pricey.
Well, that's
everything. It's not like the airport price.
Fucking pack of cigarettes like $17.
Yeah. It's like an upcharge, like when you go to the airport.
Oh God.
That's the other thing, man. Listen, the one thing I hate about traveling is the airport.
Yeah.
I don't know why everybody in the world gets a fan in their bathroom.
Right.
But in airport restrooms, just no ventilation.
No ventilation.
It's just it's like you're in prison.
I can remember back in the early 2000s when they started banning indoor smoking in large facilities.
And, that was hilarious.
And we were touring, and we got off in Atlanta. And the Atlanta International is fucking huge. It's like one of the biggest airports in the United States.
I was just there. Yeah.
And they had this smoking room. And it was just glass fucking room where they must have been an office in there at some point. So they put in all these chairs to these smokers who are on these international flights that like were dying for a cigarette. You couldn't see into it because the entire glass room was a fog of smoke. And I'm a smoker, so I'm dying to get in there. I didn't even light a cigarette. I just walked in and breathed for a minute.
They have that in Europe.
Do they?
Smoking rooms in the airports. I'm always looking for Rick. Where's Rick? He's in the smoking
room.
Oh,
so fuck, man.
Poor guy, man.
It's crazy. I had never experienced. It was like being in a, enclosing yourself in one of those.
Have you always smoked since you were?
I've smoked since I was peer pressured into smoking in 9th grade.
Do you smoke because? Did you first smoke when you were a kid because it looked cool?
Yeah. Where I grew up in Texas, is this little town that's just like Friday Night Lights, if you ever watched it.
Oh yeah, man.
And in the 80s, the big thing there was a school. We had a middle school that was in the middle of 4 roads. Okay, and it's a huge school property, but there was a square around it, and the high school was at the north end of it. And what all the kids used to do before school, who had licenses, would drive around this fucking square, passing each other, girls hanging out of the normal fucking hangout type of shit, because you didn't have cell phones, it was all that one-on-one experience stuff.
Right.
And people used to cruise, and that's what they do on Friday and Saturday nights too. They cruise this fucking thing. But in the morning, 9th grader, we had to take the bus because we didn't have our licenses yet. That's when we were getting our licenses.
Hilarious.
And we used to stand out front, and this guy that was in one of my classes that was a year ahead of me drove. And he passed by, he's like, dude, come on. And I was like, I'm cool enough. I'm a 9th grader. Are you sure?
We all have that same experience. That's funny.
Yeah. So he's smoking Marlboros, and he throws me the pack, and I didn't want to act like I couldn't smoke. So I took the cigarette, and I smoked the cigarette, and I fucking turned green, like everyone does on that first cigarette. But the next day, I used my lunch money and bought a pack of cigarettes. And from that point forward, I've always smoked. I quit for a year once, and I'm gonna be totally 100% honest. Now I roll my own mostly.
Right.
I have to stop and get my my supply of tobacco.
It seems
today.
to be the hardest habit to quit.
It's a fucking really hard habit to quit, and I don't want to.
Right, because you get a bit of a little rush too, you know, with each one. And,
Yeah.
But it's I know it's the hardest one to quit.
You know, it's, and I worry that if I quit, it's going to change my voice.
Okay.
You know, because there's a
Sure.
month that goes on there where you're coughing up all the excess phlegm and all the extra other
So
shit.
don't fix it if it ain't broken.
Exactly. But here's the really fucked up part is that for all those years I was buying Class A cigarettes, you know, like everybody else. I never rolled my own. And I was sick fucking all the time. All I did was cough, and one of my friends, a guy, turned me on to rolling my own, and he gave me his old machine, and bought a new machine, and then I started buying. It's called pipe tobacco because they can't sell tobacco. There's a whole fucking
I get
thing.
it.
So
Why are they doing that? We could just resell these as it is.
Yeah, so I buy the pipe tobacco, and I fucking you buy the tubes, put it in the machine, it puts it in the tube. For the 7 or 8 months that I've been doing it, I don't cough anymore.
That's true.
There's no fucking cough anymore. I don't have that constant nasal drain or shit that I used to have for all those and I'm like, I was like, holy shit.
Some good tobacco cured your.
Yeah, and not only, and I don't think that, you know, look, people say, oh yeah, but there's a lot of shit in that too. Yeah, but there's a lot less.
Right.
And whatever lot less it is, I feel healthier.
Sure. When
Still.
ever the lesser of two evils, of course, man.
You know? Yeah.
Vice is nice.
And then I figure, okay, I'm not going to quit because if I quit, it's going to change my voice, and my voice is what sells everything.
Yeah.
You know, with this band. So. And that sounds conceited.
No, man. Anybody who's seen the band knows. You know, it's.
I can't.
You got it's you do your job really well. So
I said I don't cough, and there I am coughing. The guys in the band are fucking great. They're great, and you know, but every good band knows that if the singer has to be good.
Yeah.
If the singer's not good, then people are not going to pay attention. They're just not. You know, it's, you know it, I know it.
Yeah, I mean, the band could be smoking, and the singer's just like, it's like, whatever. I'm gonna go check the next band.
I'll go have a drink or get a burger or something.
I'm always geared to, because I do the job as well. I always look for what the singer can do, but I'm always paying attention to the drummer for some reason. Drummers are part of the show, too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But
you're probably watching him because he doesn't ever get any attention. I joke around it.
I'm like, I can't do that.
I have hardly any video of Patrick because he's behind me.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah. Actually,
and I'm 6'4",
yeah,
so...
we did some recording at M3, and we put a GoPro on Rick.
Oh, okay.
And that's really cool. You get some good shots of
Yeah.
him.
We keep wanting to do that for him. The problem is, you put a camera on Patrick, and it's ham time. Like,
oh, really?
Oh my God. And when Patrick is hamming it up,
right,
there's no controlling his tempo.
A lot of double bass involved.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's like, fuck me. What's going on? We know there are specific times where his playing gets like way overboard, that there's a friend of his, somebody who's in the drumming industry in the audience, and or you know, he's trying to impress somebody really, really hardly, and we know we're fucked. The rest of the band is fucked. There's key things that nobody can play because it's just too fast to play it.
He's an impressive guy.
But we love it, you know, and where it used to frustrate the shit out of me, it became this fun thing to where...
Yeah, man, it's a big part of the shtick. It's like...
I look over at Eric and we just fucking laugh because we know. It's this look that knows, fuck, here he goes again.
He's like, he's going to do a double bass in the ballad right now.
A fucking solo going on during
right.
Purple Rain, for Christ's sakes.
That's funny, man. That's funny. But I do look... So goes the singer, usually goes the band.
Yeah.
And I notice in the past years, too, what's happening is there's a lot more... female vocalists that are doing the cover stuff
because the guys can't do
notes. Yeah,
so you get the girls doing all the Journey songs and the girls doing the, you know, all the high songs because the guys can't do it.
But that gets very, like, you know, and great singers, like it's very like okay.
Yeah, well, it's the same as if you ever saw a dude singing
Right.
Pat Benatar. It just doesn't translate, you know.
So when you see someone doing it well, you're like, that's
Unless
really
it's Lizzie Hale.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Lizzie Hale, then whatever.
She
I
can
don't
sing
give a shit
anything
what she
apparently,
sings, man.
That's a hard gig.
It's a hard, yeah. I envied singers like that. That it doesn't. She's got so much power and can sing anything at a young age that her life is set. Her life is going to be set.
Yeah, she plays well. She sings well. She seems like she's a very
personable, down to earth person. Yeah.
One day I hope you meet her. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I
I might, it sounds silly, but I think I might be a little starstruck because I followed them since the first album when nobody knew who the fuck they were, and I was like, holy shit.
I like them, and I like the girl from In This Moment, too.
Yeah, oh, you know,
Vicious Vocals.
I have to look her up because I don't know anything about her.
Vicious Vocals, a friend of ours, well, one of Rick's fellow students, just drummer Jeff Fab, who now plays for Black Label. He's one of those drummers that plays for everybody.
Oh, wow, yeah.
He was In This Moment for a while with her.
Okay.
I saw him in 1 or 2 shows. I don't really know the catalog.
Right.
I just know live, they blew my fucking mind. And I thought she was awesome.
Who's Lena Scissorhorns? Did you ever hear of her?
No.
She's Norway or something, or Sweden or some shit. She's fucking gorgeous.
Oh,
And
wow.
I like head to toe tattoos, and
Oh, yeah, we
has
like
this can scream like I have never heard in my life. And I was like, oh my god, man, you know. So, but it's her own identity.
Right.
It's not her singing somebody else's shit. It's
Every new thing, there's always someone around the corner that's going to be amazing.
amazing.
Better.
Yeah.
So that's how it works, you know. And we have YouTube to discover people, and Instagram, and
It's so much harder now though because there's a lot of fakery and bullshit going on.
Oh yeah.
Like that guy Giacomo, whatever his name is, the guitar player from Italy or whatnot.
Yeah.
And he got busted stealing other people's arrangements and all kinds of other shit. And the fucked up thing is, I used to watch this guy in awe. I'd sit back and be like, holy shit, dude, really? Like, really? Now, I mean, I knew that there were certain aspects to it because that were not live because the music was too crystal clear when they're in an outdoor setting. And but you could tell that he was playing all this shit, and then you just come to find out that he was selling tablature, claiming that they were his own arrangements when they belonged to all these other fucking composers and shit. And I'm like, ugh. And there's a lot of that shit going on. There's a lot of fakery going on online because there's no real way to present yourself. So think about the original world today, and this is why I don't want to ever really go down the original path. If you're a new original band,
Yeah.
I know guys
Very
around here
difficult.
that are in original bands, especially original metal bands, and they're like, there's 2 places in the entire state that they can play.
Right.
And even in those 2 places in the state that they can play, and this is fucking Florida, it's a big state, they can't make any money because they can't draw.
Yeah.
And
yeah, where you going? I totally understand. I'm only able to do what I do
because the name
Spread has a
yes,
history.
Exactly.
If you have some sort of history,
I could never do it now, man. It's like pissing in the wind.
and some of the bands that do it, they think things are just easy.
Yes.
Like how do you get on M3?
Oh
you
yeah,
got-
I blew some. No.
Yeah, how do you get on the cruise? You know, it's like, or just in general, it's like you have to put in a lot of work.
It's the same in the cover
Sometimes it's
world.
years, yeah, I mean-
That's why we're able to be successful because we treat it the same way that we did in the original world, where you have to be hungry all the time.
Sure.
Even when you're making good money, you got to be hungry all the time.
That word came into play when I thought about you saying this. You know, Lauren's hungry.
Hungry, man. Yeah.
And that's what
I will never not be hungry. I will always want to perform better. I will, and here's the thing is that people, you know, I post a lot of shit that I do purposely to piss people off, not individual people, but to wake a community up.
Sure.
And
provocateur of the car. Yeah.
And the thing is that I always want. I will always want more. I will always want more fans. I will always want to play bigger stages and better stages. Right. And when I quit for those couple of years, I used to tell myself, I've already achieved my bucket lists. So everything is, I don't have to do anything anymore. Don't bother. And then
And you woke up.
then I woke up. And I said, you know what, I don't like living like this. I don't, where I had no ambition, because all my ambition was music and entertainment related. And then I realized that I don't seek the same cravings that I used to seek with presenting music that I wrote to people, because I'm already receiving.
Yeah.
I'm receiving what I need from the audience playing covers.
Right.
And I don't see myself needing to go down the route of convincing people. See, that's the hard part.
Right.
That's what original music is. You put your blood and soul and heart and sweat into it, only to have to convince people, almost force them to listen.
Right.
And I don't like that.
See,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't like that.
I look at it this way, like even more narcissistic. we create this language, right? When you create a language, you feel it in your bones, like everybody should speak this or at least understand this. So you create this thing and you give it out to the world. The people that learn the language, really learn it, come to see you.
Right.
And you have this really cool private conversation that nobody else can have.
Yeah.
And then it's such an intense feeling that they want to share that, and you keep trying to work that.
Yeah.
But it's not about. I guess for me, it's just art.
It's art.
It's about. I want to connect with people because I know, especially because now I'm getting a second shot at it. Like, if I didn't give a fuck about it,
Yeah.
if it didn't mean anything, it was just rock and roll.
Why would you Why would you do what you're doing?
Yeah, and I think and I had a big part in its writing and its creation. So it's like it's the baby. You want to take the baby and you want to nurture the baby and have others, the village raise the baby.
Right.
It's this really cool thing. But it's a message that just brings people into the same space, whether it's original music or it's a great cover song, great catalog. As long as we get people into that space.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm driven by this because I feel it. I know what this music can do. So that's why I'm out there selling it. I'm a door-to-door salesman.
Right.
We go door to door selling our shit.
The best thing I read, and I don't know who it was. I don't remember who it was. It was a quote by one of rock stars that said that they don't sell music anymore. They're t-shirt salesmen. And
we're merchandise salesmen.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's just no more music business. We get no money from Spotify.
No.
We get zero money from Spotify.
People don't get that, and I wish that I think this is the administration that somebody should go to them and say, look, this is how things have become unfair. Snoop Dogg, I think, I was reading the thing about him reaching that 1 billion streams.
Oh,
he
really?
got 1 billion streams, and the check for the 1 billion streams, $40,000.
And that's in the upper echelon of Spotify.
Are you fucking
Yeah,
shitting me?
man.
Back in the day, when we were all getting our deals, we all understood how the money breakdown was, and you knew, you were only going to make at the tops 5 cents per song on any.
It's the pie theory.
It's the pie theory, and your portion of the pie was going to be this little tiny amount.
It's called the slither.
Yes, the slither, and it was in
Sliver.
advance. Who was I fucking just reading? I was just some famous guy was a drummer in the band. Oh, the guy from
Alex Van Halen?
No, the drummer from not Sublime, Aaron Lewis. What was his band?
Stained.
Stained. He said that he has never been paid a royalty.
Wow.
Because they're still paying off the advances that they got. They never have paid back the record company.
Well, that's where the rock star lifestyle attitude came from. We're giving all this money.
Yeah,
We're gonna
and you
spend
blow it all at
and,
once.
And you got to pay it back.
Yeah.
You got to be smart.
They don't. The general public doesn't understand the actual. There's so much that goes into when you jump from a local level to a national level and then to a international level. Each step of the way, you have to learn how to carry yourself at that level.
Sure, man.
You got to learn how, I see guys all the time that don't even know how to do a fucking sound check.
Always be learning.
Yeah. Holy shit, man.
Sure.
The bass player can't be talking over the guitar player while the sound guy is working on monitor mix for the guitar player while the bass player's over there asking for. No, man, one at a fucking time.
Yeah,
one at a time, and get there early enough
Yeah.
to do a proper sound check.
Yeah.
You know, granted, when you're, I don't know, how did they work you guys at M3 with the shuffle on and shuffle off? Did they ask you?
Yeah, they gave us. This year they had a rotating stage.
Oh.
So they had a band on front, and while I was doing, you got ready on the back, and the whole thing rotated.
Oh,
really?
So
cool
you were
stuff.
set up and ready to go.
Really cool, man. We got Ricky. All the things we asked for, they have for you.
So how much time in between bands? Like none?
It was quick, maybe like 15, 20 minutes.
Fuck, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, maybe 20. That's a good question.
I
You know,
love
think
I
if-
love when shit turns around like
Yeah,
that
man.
and the band is just on.
It
Next
was
band,
nice.
boom.
It was a good amount of time, but it wasn't wasn't too fast. Wasn't too. It was
Yeah.
perfect. But they said we had they let us check really nice. It was great. I had to check. I checked into the empty arena. It was cool, man. I was just walking around like, this is dope.
See, I would have videoed the whole fucking. I'm that geek. I'm the geek.
We have a lot of footage.
Yeah, I would have videoed the fucking whole thing and made some giant story out.
Yeah,
of it,
we got a
you
video
know?
crew that was on stage with us, and they documented all that stuff. You got Ricky just doing his thing. I guess somebody caught me jumping rope on this side, which is funny.
There's all these fucked up things. Like I can remember, I played a very famous venue in Manhattan, and it was the first time that I ever had to. I was still an unknown, and first time I ever had to deal with like the union guys.
Oh yeah,
carrying bringing your shit
guys are
in.
barrel of laughs.
And so I get there early, and this is the one with the subway station attached to it. I'm trying not to fucking.
Really?
Yeah. We were a house band for a fucking radio show
That's cool.
that was very popular, and the comedian that was on it had a show going on at MSG, and he's like, listen, man, I got this idea. He's like, you open the show, and then I'll come out and I'll sing, this with you, and then you close the show.
Okay.
And he was like, maybe have like 8 songs, so 4 songs before and 4 songs after his fucking comedy set.
Oh, I
And
wish
he
you
had-
had this on video. That'd be so
I have
cool.
I have
Really?
some parts of it on video.
You gotta
I
get
have
it.
pictures. The video, that's the thing that annoys me, is I had everything, dude. We were kleptomaniacs because we fucking loved we just loved keeping mementos from tours.
Times were different back then. Like,
Times were
you
different.
Can't record everything.
We're at MSG, and we're going up the freight elevator, which we had to drive this truck in, and you go into this tunnel that takes you under Madison Square Garden, and you
famous
park your thing
tunnel,
in
yeah.
there, and then they come out. You can't touch any of your shit. You can't once you're on the property, you can't touch your shit. They take it out of the fucking truck and the whole 9 yards. So, we don't know. This is the first time we ever dealt with anything on that fucking like at that big level.
Yeah,
like
it's
this.
cool.
And we go up the freight elevator. We get to the spot. They put us into an actual room called the green room. And we walked in, and I'm videotaping fucking everything in the elevator. Long story short, on the way up, in the elevator, they were changing those. They had these huge, big square illuminated signs all over the place that said MSG, Madison Square Garden, and somebody left one in the garbage because they were changing it out. Like, we took this and had it hanging up in our studio, and we played Britney Spears Club, and we stole like fringe lamps and all kinds of shit. So we had all kinds of stuff decked out from every venue that we ever played. But I wish I still had all the video footage from
That's
that.
cool though, man. I mean that's church.
I have pictures.
That's church.
No
The Garden is
videos.
church.
Yeah.
I saw some great shows there.
But you're like,
There's nothing like being treated.
well, that's
Again.
the thing, is that
Again,
they
you know.
respect you. You don't ever get any disrespect from anybody on those levels because they know you're working just like them.
Yeah, getting back to it, the check to the catering to the way they treat you to the dressing rooms, the green rooms. Man, like I said, we each got our own dressing room too.
Yeah.
Not even as a band, but as the Spread Eagle room was next to the Vixen and
Right.
in order of playing. It was really cool.
Oh, that's
they give you a
fucking
basket of snacks. And
I caught some of the Vixen shit. They were good.
they were
really good.
Britt's a great
Yeah.
guitar player, man, and the singer. They're professional, great. They're at the level they're supposed to be. They're doing their thing. You see that band, they're like, those are pros.
I caught some of Accept.
Good set.
Yeah, I felt.
I miss Udo.
I felt like they've never ever grown up. You know, there was a lot of that syncopated stuff, and I was just like, oh shit, man, no.
But that's very, the German bands still do the Scorpion. They still do the thing, because that's what the American bands do. I think I met the singer on the boat. He was a nice guy.
Was he? Yeah.
Yeah, nice guy. I'm a fan of the whole thing. I didn't know M3. I always thought it was like a festival for the old school bands and whatever. But now that we were part of it, we're the alumni.
Right.
They tell me it's been really cool. It's something I would like to do every year. I know that we can't do it every year because I don't know how
they like to change it all that up. Yeah, but
you never know.
You never know.
I'm happy to do these. I'm happy to. It gives this band a lot of optics. So that's what we need, because we don't do,
it's what keeps the name on people's minds.
And I see that it's intense for I think it's intense for about 2 weeks and then it fades out. And then you start to put the next year's lineup or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, it was great. It was great.
All that, anything you put up has a short lifespan because, people move on to the next thing real quickly. So you, as far as like social media wise, you got to get into that habit of 24-hour content. Is my Ray time up? We did go an hour and 20. So.
Oh wow, that's Miss Brana. Wait a minute, it's the kid. Hey, Bran.
Hey, sorry I didn't get to speak to you yesterday. I was so busy with working.
That's right. I'm doing a podcast with Warren. Are you working?
No, I'm about to go to work in like a few hours. I'm like out for it, but I just wanted to call you, say I love you.
Aw.
I raised that kid right.
You did.
All right, Papa. I love you. I'm gonna call you when I'm done anyway.
All right, enjoy your podcast. I love you.
All right, bye.
Sorry to interrupt.
It's all right. What a good kid.
Oh, that's
man.
awesome.
I raised that boy.
Yeah.
So you get what you can. You make the most of it. What I do is a little different because we're still trying to tour nationally. So we're trying to get in whatever we can get from our Gram feed, Facebook feed, X feed, whatever. We're just like you were just trying to.
That's
I'm off this weekend. You're probably gigging this weekend.
Yeah, Friday Tipsy Tea in Fort Pierce, Saturday at Wickham Park.
We're in.
If you want to come and play in front of a huge crowd on a festival stage with us, come to Wickham Park Saturday night, and we'll do Firewoman or something.
Where's that at?
In Melbourne.
Oh no shit!
It's a couple of thousand fucking people in a giant band shell. Res Pro's got that's a giant festival thing. There's a whole. You bring the whole family.
You have to do Sabbath, man.
Yeah. Oh, we could do that.
Let's do them both.
Yeah.
If I can't, well, like your beautiful little kitty, I'm getting my little doggy. She's getting spayed tomorrow.
Oh.
So Sue says we gotta be, it's like a baby. So
dude, you don't gotta tell me.
Man,
I got a baby chicken in the house that we don't go anywhere because we gotta keep it.
But I'm off this weekend. But next weekend I'm in the Midwest,
Where?
which is Ohio.
Oh.
Yeah, Ohio and
Have you played Red Rocks yet?
No.
That's a bucket list for me. That's a bucket list.
Like Colorado Red Rocks?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's on everybody's bucket list.
I know, man. Anytime I see a video of Red Rocks, I'm like,
well, number one, since I love outdoor festivals, and so
Me too, yeah.
And that place it's a natural amphitheater. I used to live in Colorado for about a year.
yeah, the audio is retarded.
Yeah, man. And it's right by the drag
I
strip.
interviewed Joe Bonamassa for a magazine that I was a part of here, and we talked exclusively in depth about Red Rocks, and he said that the experience of the natural audio of the venue would blow your mind.
Feel like Bono walking around there like wanting to preach and wave a flag.
Yeah, like when you've in your touring, whenever you've walked into a really acoustically projecting room and like you want to bust out singing right there because you're like, holy shit,
it's like an outdoor
amazing
hall.
Yeah.
Is that so? In the U.S.
Yeah.
That's on the top.
What?
That's on the top venue for you to play.
That's
Red Rocks.
now because I've already done MSG.
That's
So
okay.
yeah,
MSG's
Red Rocks
my number
is
one.
Red Rocks
MSG's my
is
number one. Just even to open for someone there would be so fucking
well.
cool.
And you know what it is? I have pictures of the band name on the famous MSG marquee.
Oh yeah.
And that alone, and I have my backstage pass and I have all that shit.
I would make a tattoo out of it.
Well, that year, so that year we did the Madison Square Garden first, And then 2 months later, we played the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
Wow.
with the Smithereens, and that was one of those moments where that year was just fucking. That year was the year that we were either going to make it or we weren't,
Wow.
and we got right there, man, right there. But that one was fucking great because I go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I go do the tour the day before, and when I end up in the gift shop, there's fucking T-shirts there that say Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Soul Shake, and with the
That's your name on
Smithereens, and I was like, what? Like I had to buy my own. They ended up giving me one, but I bought it right then and there because I was like, holy shit, like that. Those are those holy shit moments where
Yeah,
you're like,
that's cool, man.
God damn.
You know,
And then it all went downhill from there.
but it gives you great experiences. The thing about, I think what we do, it gives you great life experiences, great people interactions. Some of it's all about relationships, man.
Yeah. It
know,
is, though.
Through music, I met you, Eric.
Well, whether it be like guys like Jimmy Robinette, who we both know, or some of the other guys, Vic over in Tampa area,
the mayors of rock towns.
You get to know the guys.
Yeah.
Who are the movers and the shakers, and
Right.
you have to, and those guys that are the movers and the shakers, they don't have. There's an ego, of course, but there isn't a competition because they're working on I am my only competition. And so when the next guy is like, that guy's a fucking asshole. No, wait a second. All he's doing is making himself better and better each
Sure.
and every time. And those are the people I like to connect with.
Well,
Because-
there's the people that are doing something and they're doing something well.
Yeah.
And they don't behave like gatekeepers. They're just good guys, and they'll help you. If they're cool, they'll help you. If you're worth it,
If you're worth it.
you gotta
Yes.
let people know your value. Because it's like it's very to get on stage. It's serious business.
Yes.
So you can just be kind of right.
And take it serious.
You got to at least be good. You can't
Yeah.
be resting on your laurels. And
Or you end up being the guy playing background music at,
the red pepper.
fish chips.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, you wonder why you're not making any money because you're not,
Yeah.
nobody cares.
In the end, we're in a
It's a harsh thing, but,
Yeah.
it's reality, and I'm a realist.
Yeah.
Because I've had to fight for everything I've ever gotten in my entire life.
I'm not some tall, blonde, sexy rock singer. I'm a little crazy dude. It's like, what the fuck am I doing here? I just know in my heart. It's in my heart. I love
Actually,
it.
when you say that, it's fucking funny because every time we play Earl's Hideaway, not every time, but every time that he's in town and we play Earl's Hideaway, he comes and hangs out and does a song with us. And every time I have to lower my mic stand for you, I'm always like, Ronnie James Dio, here we go.
Oh yeah. Somebody said to me the other day, and it's a guy who goes, man, when you're up there, you're like 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, but don't you feel 10 feet
Oh,
tall
yeah,
when you're
man.
up there? Yeah.
Because you're the loudest person in the room.
That's right.
That's
right.
You're the
Never fuck
loudest
with the
person-
guy with the microphone, man.
You're the loudest person in the room. I love what we do, man.
Me too.
This is great. We should do this every week.
We can. We can do it as often as you want to do
This
it.
is great, though.
So let's wrap this up for today because
All
we
right.
did go an hour and a half, and
Thanks, man.
promise me that. Let's say, why don't we do it next month?
Yeah.
For like 100%. You pick a day that you're
Sure.
home, and we'll talk about wherever the fuck you went next. So Shovelhed this weekend, Spread Eagle all over the fucking world. Make sure that you guys go out, check them out on their Facebook page, which is Facebook/Spread Eagle. And follow the Ray West fan page. Who the fuck is Ray West?
I never know.
Later.
Beautiful.